Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to also share, like, and comment.
Was getting 30,000 kwacha just 2 years ago. Was getting something like $2,000. Now that person is getting $1,100. A person that was getting $6,000 maybe 5 years ago was getting something like 6,000 kwacha. A person who was getting 6,000 kwacha was getting close to $1,000 maybe 10 years ago. Not close to, that was $1,000. I remember when Michael Sata increased salaries and did a lot of harmonization in the public sector, teachers were getting $1,000. That was around 5,000 kwacha. And you know, the teachers, you could see the impacts. Teachers started driving, you know, civil servants started driving, and basically we created a very stable middle class with salaries remaining after 10 years around the 6,000, 7,000 barrier, and the kwacha moving from probably 5 to 27 kwacha. I can tell you that that is a serious erosion of the value of people's earnings. People that get 6,000 kwacha are getting just $210, $220. And to fly to, you know, to say Johannesburg or to Dubai is $650. I don't know how a person, how much they need to save to be able to go and even see Dubai. So we are talking about, when you are talking about 6,000 kwacha, according to the central government, that is the highest high income earner, and they are taxed at 37.5%. So what I'm trying to say is that the people we consider from a tax perspective as high income earners are just getting $200. That's how the exchange rate has really affected. Also, fuel prices followed suit. You know, an increase in 5 kwacha in any economy should never be there. It's better you adjust by 15 way, or I don't know by how much, but we should never be in a situation where we are adjusting fuel prices by 5 kwacha. You are creating a shock in the economy, and economy is collapsed. And I'm telling you, a lot of businesses have collapsed. If people were producing five lemons, now they are producing 1 lemon because there's load shedding, there's there's electricity, there's high fuel prices, and also low liquidities in the economy. That's the other factor. Low liquidity, there's simply no money, and if there's no money with households and companies, there's no demand for goods and services.
Doc.
So businesses do bad. So basically, I can say we are quite in challenging times.
Let's look at solutions. We've known our challenges. We know what the challenges are. We're aware of that and what we're going through. What are the solutions?
I think the solutions are for us to first agree that we are here, because the problem with our country is that we never agree that we have issues, and these issues come from independence. Zambia was relatively developed compared to its peers for the level of 1964. But other countries have gone further because technology has improved, and Zambia, unfortunately, has stagnated. I'll give you some figures, and I'll talk to the solutions. So when you look at independence, Kaunda came in with 100 graduates, and he tried to build a free market economy up to 1966, when he realized that basically with a private enterprise, he won't be able to do much, because private companies basically will provide, will exploit mineral resources. I'm talking about the mining industry. He would exploit mineral resources and take away all the money, leaving just a few for Zambians to scrounge upon, to scrounge on. So what did he do? He nationalized the mines. So after nationalizing the mines, he built UNZA, CBU, we built hydropower stations. We did a lot, with ZCCM resources. Then we built a lot of factories. Unfortunately, with the structural adjustment program, the IMF and the World Bank pushed structural adjustment programs on Zambia, and we liberalized the economy. From that particular point, the IMF and the World Bank single-handedly took Zambia into Stone Age. A country that was producing batteries in the 80s, 70s, Mansa batteries, stopped producing that, to a level whereby yesterday the Honorable Minister for Commerce was celebrating that now we are producing batteries. Have you seen to what level we have been brought back. Stone Age. Now the things we used to do. We used to produce television sets in Livingston.
Isn't production a good thing, Doc?
It's import.
Production, the batteries issue.
It's a very good thing.
Isn't it a good thing? Because it was a good thing then when Kaunda was doing it.
Thing.
We shouldn't have stopped producing.
We shouldn't have stopped producing. That's why I'm saying we shouldn't have stopped. It's a good thing. There's a Chinese company that has come in to do this. But batteries are built from mineral resources, so they are going to add value. But when they make the profits, they are going to go to China. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that the solutions to Zambia's economy is to take advantage of the mineral resources that we have and diversify into other sectors of the economy. Now, that diversification should be citizen-driven, meaning citizens of the Republic of Zambia are the ones that are supposed to be given priority. You and me probably now, we might not have money to invest in a battery business, but IDC as a government entity has. So what government should do is that they should push these profits from mineral resources and give them to IDC to open up factories, producing batteries, producing tires, assembling motor vehicles, assembling. IDC can even go into partnerships with foreign companies. Now, when these companies, after introduction and they are stable, 10, 15 years in operation, they can offload shares to the Zambian people so that we can buy. They can do management buyouts, would have learned how to operate, would have done what, would have had the resources. There are Zambians that are capable. I'll give you Mikalile. Mikalile supplied items using his own money worth over $100 million. He mobilized those resources. There are very few people that are able to mobilize resources in the Republic, but Mikalile did. So what we need to do, we need to identify such business people. Because Mikalile, his money is going to remain in the Republic of Zambia. So you identify them, you tell them, how can IDC partner with you in a project? What is your latest project? What do you want to do? That way you will find that maybe you'll start making tires. We will start making now tires in Indora.
Is IDC really the solution? Because if you look at their profile and the companies that they have, most of them are loss-making.
The problem with IDC is that you are taking your relatives to go and head those institutions. For example, if you are sick and there are two heart surgeons, you know that your relative just completed university as a heart surgeon last year, and there's this other heart surgeon who has been working for 20 years. Whom are you going to say, please come and operate on me? You go for the 20 years person. Maybe your relative is the one who can just come and assist. But what is happening in Zambia is that we are giving these companies to be run by cadres and relatives, hoping or thinking that...
When you say relatives, whose relatives?
To overturn them. Probably the people that are connected to one or two individuals. I mean, this is an.
Can you give an example? Because Doc, it's a huge accusation that you're making
we
right
don't
now.
have time to be moving from court to court, so we just let it for.
It's a huge accusation, Doc. You have to clarify it, because whose relative is being run? And
I'm trying to say,
because you've insinuated that these relatives that are being appointed are inexperienced. They might be educated, but they're inexperienced, and they can't run this parastatus.
When you are running for example, I've never heard adverts for CEOs in parastatals. I've never heard. The way a company, if you want a company to be effective, the first thing you need to do is to appoint a board. That board should not be single-handedly appointed by one person. You can even advertise to the people of the Republic of Zambia. Board positions, you advertise. Let people now do what? Apply. Now, the way it's supposed to do, there should be independent people. You can even get an independent from outside, because those people won't have relatives and they won't listen. When they recommend that these people are better suited for this board, you pick them. There's no biasness. That no, me, I used to be chairperson of this constituency. Now I lost elections. Now I'm going to be a board chairperson of this company. You know? That's what I'm talking about. So you employ an independent board. Then the board advertises for the position of CEO. Then Zambians apply. When Zambians apply, you have an independent panel that sits and evaluates whoever has applied, shortlists, interviews, and what. Today we just wake up and say, this one has been appointed CEO. When were the interviews done? Who appointed the CEO? So how do you expect the company to perform when the person was appointed because he's known or he's connected to a political party, his allegiance is going to be to the party. And if he has even strong influence in the party, meaning he's able to return political power for one or two people, there's nothing you are going to tell him when he does something wrong in a company.
And yes, and you're making the assumption that that's what's going on at the IDC.
I mean,
right
it has
now.
been happening since 19. I'm not talking about IDC. I'm talking about Zambian parastatal in particular.
Okay.
When I'll give you an example. When did you ever hear people advertise for the job of CEO of ZESCO, managing director? Since independence, they have advertised. They're looking for managing director for ZESCO. For example, I'm not picking ZESCO as. I'm just telling you, when did we ever advertise? Yes. When did you tell? I've never seen such an advert. So how do you expect the company to perform if you didn't advertise? You need to pick the best brains. We have 20 million Zambians. So you need to advertise. These jobs should be advertised. So at the people that are competitive, a person who knows that if I move left and I don't do something wrong, I'm going to be fired. Okay. Because I have nobody to back me up.
I want to take you back to the solution. We're talking about batteries and manufacturing here. You're trying to strike a point regarding as to how we can keep the money in Zambia. There's a law that has been put in place where whatever business is being done in Zambia by investors, well, it has to go through the Zambian banking system. Doesn't that help in a way in trying to revive our economy?
That law is just a law. You know, there's access to freedom information law, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Is it operational?
Not operational now, but
yeah, but it was passed and everybody celebrated.
Yes.
The same with that law that you are talking about. It's not happening. Nothing is happening. What is supposed to do is that when the mining companies sell copper, that money is supposed to come and land, if either at Zanaco, at Investors, which you close down, or at any other bank. So that we see the money, that constant movement of money in and out is going to create an average balance in terms of forex. That is not happening. If that was happening, the kwacha was going to be strong. Because according to my estimates, our mining sector should be around $8 billion. Yeah? Roughly, the formal one. Plus informal, it should be way above 12 billion. You know, I want to, in terms of, that law of keeping forex in Zambia, I want to give you an example of the solutions to the questions of the kwacha. Kwacha solution. We have a lot of minerals in the Republic of Zambia. One of them is gold. If you have not moved around the country, then you are going to be told that there's no gold mining in Zambia. There is heavy gold mining happening across the nation. Some of it is small scale, informal. Who's buying it? People of a certain, I don't want to mention nationalities here. I'm a global person. But foreigners are buying this gold from our Zambian people. And they are sending it out of the country. I don't know how they are sending it. But I would like to think that it's not legal methods.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to JQ.
If you move around, just go and try to find, in the bushes. Move around. The problem with Zambians, we just sit in Matero and think that's the whole Zambia. Let's move around. See what is happening in the bush. So that gold, when I was EAZ president, we advised government that government make gold a strategic mineral. Now, there's a lot of gold. 2 years, we were just going back and forth. People saying it's lying, there's no gold in Zambia. Until a person I don't want to name said, no, Your Excellency, this is true. The gold is there in the country. Government made it a reserve. Then government opened the Zambia Gold Company. Zambia Gold Company was supposed to be, on behalf of ZCMIH, to buy the gold from these people. First, empower them so that they can improve their mining methods of gold. Then, buy from them for kwacha. Then, that gold is going to be refined by Zambia Gold Company and given or sold to Bank of Zambia. Now, instead of you creating forex by exporting maize or whatever, you are basically converting, because gold in itself is forex. Because according to the IMF, the reserves that you can keep is forex, precious metals, including gold. It's a reserve asset. So just from the soil, we can create gold reserves. Gold prices are always moving up. So you can even be sitting in the morning, you find that your reserves have gone up by 10% because gold prices have gone up by 10%. Surely, what is failing? Why are we failing to implement this? Why are we failing? Just this simple thing. That's why I'm saying our problems are self-made. Then we have, from there, we have Sujilite. I've never heard the Sujilite policy. Ever since that truck was caught with Sujilite, we don't know what happened with Sujilite. That's a strategic mineral, very expensive. We should start stockpiling. We have precious metals. Some of you Zambians, you have never even seen what an emerald looks like. We have plenty of it. Zambia is the #1 exporter of emeralds in the world. But what do we have to show for it? Nothing. Me and you, me specifically, I don't have money to be able to go and do those mines and what. So, but government has, because it crowdfunds through taxes. It collects small taxes from each and every individual. So after they collect from everybody, they should give some money to IDC or ZCMIH to be able to go and do what? To be able to start those new factories. So that we can have already, if I ask you, do we even have copper reserves? We don't have. I can give you 100 million kwacha to $100 million to and say, go and get me copper from the copper belt. There will be zero. The way gold is sold, it just flies. They sell it without even knowing what is happening. So how are you going to benefit?
There's been suggestions as to our, maybe a solution to our economic challenges should be an economic indaba. What's your take on this?
Yes, we should go and talk. The first point of call when you want to develop a country is unity. You know, I hear people say, this guy is opposition. How can be a Zambian be opposition? Opposing who? Zambia. How can you oppose yourself? Because you are the Zambian. There's no person as ruling. How can a person be ruling? There's no ruling person. All Zambians are equal. We carry the same NRC. That's why we need first to agree on this point that we are all equal and we all have equal right to the Republic of Zambia. Then we go now into one room and say, engineers, what can we do? Economists, what can we do? Lawyers, what can we do? When I was at EZ going back, I tried to do that. National Economic Summit. Everybody came. And I can tell you that even these solar projects you are talking about today, we were born and pushed from that same economic summit. People need to start talking to each other. You can't have these economists, they are known as ruling. These other economists, for example, are known as opposition. How can you be ruling an opposition when you have the same NRC and the same passport? People of the Republic of Zambia, we need to go and talk. Such that these conversations I'm having here, they just don't end up with between you and me.
Yeah.
Will they end up being implemented? We have a lot of intelligent people in the Republic of Zambia that we are not utilizing.
Why do you think there's some sort of resistance to having these economic indabas, or just the brains behind, or the brains in Zambia that can help Zambia's economy, rebound, sitting at one table and having this conversation? You know,
in Zambia we have a lot of egos, and I would like to tell you, a lot of people don't like me. People from that hold power and probably from my field. They think, he thinks he's the only one who knows it. This one thinks he's the only one who knows it. Because we talk. We talk for free. Some other people, when they talk, they want to be paid for that. But some of us, we're just Zambians. We should be able to talk. Whether that has negative consequences or positive consequences. So the reason why we are not talking is that some people think they know it all. But if you know it all and your actions have an impact on the whole nation, you need to listen to what other people are saying. Successive governments have not been talking to people. They are not doing talking. I don't know what witch or which wizard enters into those government offices or other offices of power to make people just think that now they have the monopoly of wisdom. I know that when you are in an office of power, civil servants, for example, make you feel that you'll be like this forever. Yeah? Power makes you think that you're going to be like that forever. When you leave it, you start regretting. I wish I could have done that, or I wish I could have listened to this. Or, after all, this person was very genuine. I can come here and speak because I know that the value of the Zambian kwacha has an effect on my own salary, on the livelihood of the person in the village. Look at the minimum prices. Do you think it's normal in 2024 for people to be fighting over ZNS minimum? Even if we are trying to provide free, cheap minimum to citizens of the people, at least let's respect their dignity. If you cannot produce enough to satisfy the whole market at free prices, please don't do it. When I look at my fellow citizens queuing up fighting. Some people even shot or not shot, allegedly shot, just because of bags of minimum. You want to cry in 2024 when people are going to space, when there's artificial intelligence, you just sit on ChatGPT, it's going to do for you a PowerPoint presentation. That's when you are queuing for minimum because it's 80 kwacha cheaper. At least let's have the dignity for the people of the Republic of Zambia. Yes, some other people are much less fortunate than we might be. But let's also have respect for them. People should not be queuing for minimum like that.
So when I'll take you back to the Indawa. Doc, when do you think this should be had?
We can leave it, the Indawa should be held as soon as possible. Who should attend? Both people from the so-called ruling party, the people in government, people from who have held government positions in the past, people who think they can hold office in the future, industry, academicians, and everybody who's willing to go. The church, everybody. We need to come and agree. How do we want to develop this country? What are our pressing issues? You know, the previous government did infrastructure. At the end of their tenure, people turned around, say, some people are saying that. Yeah. So now they are getting debt restructuring. That's the economic policy that is there. But it's not also trickling down into something. So the problem is that we don't have a mechanism of finding out what people want in the country. For example, we have members of parliament. When did members of parliament collect a view from citizens who said, can you enact a law doing this? Then the member of parliament will present it to parliament. It's the other way around. It's those in government that impose laws on the people of the Republic of Zambia. Who agreed, for example, that we should increase the rates for fines for the police? I was seeing that moving in the city. Who agreed? Have citizens agreed to say you should make things tougher let's make things tougher for offenders? Why is it that salaries are not increasing faster than we are increasing fees, electricity tariffs, fuel prices, prices of goods and services? Why aren't salaries moving? If you think it's correct to increase.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to J.
Electricity tariffs. Why don't you think it's also correct to increase salaries? These are the types of conversation we're supposed to have. As a country, where do you want to go? If I ask you what is our plan, I think apart from CDF, you won't know anything. Maybe CDF, renewable energy, and things like that. But I can tell you that you cannot power a country on solar power. You can't. I can challenge you to find a mine that is running 100% on solar today in the world. You won't find it. So we should be able to sit down and say, Zambians, how can we increase our energy production? Do you know, in 2010, we were 12 million Zambians. In 2020, we were 20 million Zambians. We grew by 8 million, almost half. In 2030, from 20 million, we can even be 35 million or 31 million. Now tell me, how many schools have we built between 2020 and 2030 to be able to accommodate 30 million Zambians? How much new power generation are we going to add to be able to satisfy energy demands of those citizens that are coming on board? So, do we have enough rivers to be able to provide hydroelectric power for Zambian citizens? We don't have. So, we now need to move to Industry 5.0. Let's build a nuclear power plant, 5,000, 10,000 megawatts, to triple the current production that we have. Because I'm telling you, we are going to be having power for 2 hours where we are going. If our population moves to 40 million, where are you going to get power?
Speaking of power,
Zambezi is not growing. The water in Zambezi is reducing.
I want to throw this at you, Doc, because we recently had an issue to do with power and the tariffs being increased by 10% by the Energy Regulation Board. But we later on went to learn that the Energy Regulation Board chairperson, following a vote of no confidence from the board, the board decided to let go of the board chairperson. What's your comment on this development, and also on the hikes of the electricity tariffs? Seeing that we need to start investing and attracting investors in the energy sector.
You know, what is happening at ERB is a fufu veve, like the people say in Osaka. For a couple about the language, when you look at what is happening,
Well, you just used it.
I can't understand. There's not a better term I can use.
Yeah.
There is no way you can increase power in Zambia without the consent of the president. There is no way. It's a highly political product because it's a right, actually, not a good. Electricity is a right to each and every Zambian. Unfortunately, only 31% of Zambians have access to that right. The rest don't have. That's one. Two, these tariffs that they are talking about, we have had them since, I don't know, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. You remember there was a phased approach of increasing energy tariffs. The same way that happens with fuel. So to say, the other month, the fuel adjustments were okay, but when they increased by 5 kwacha and they increase the electricity tariff, that's bad. Let's fire the board chair and the CEO. But you don't reverse the same decision that they made. I don't know what really transpired there. For me, I think that they are a scapegoat. Because if I make a decision without consulting my boss will reverse that decision and fire me. For example, if I broke the law, I'll be fired. But you can't fire 2 people and not reverse the decision that they made. If they did not consult and the government didn't want to put it at 35 kwacha 56 ingwe per liter of petrol, let it go back to 30. Because still more, the firing of those 2 people has had no impact on the livelihood of Zambians. In fact, it has had a negative impact when you look at the Pareto efficiency angle, because you have made 2 people worse off, without making another person better off. Those 2 people have lost their jobs or some source of livelihood. They are Zambians. They have families. They are supposed to eat the following day. They have lost jobs. But for the reason for which you remove them, you haven't even changed it. That's basically my own interpretation. I don't know what happened there. Government knows better. We move to infrastructure. You know, when you look at infrastructure in the country, we are growing. I've said we need more schools and what. We should stop listening to the IMF and the World Bank. I just read an article where the IMF and the World Bank are beginning to realize that no, in fact, developing countries should start producing. That's when they are realizing. We have been singing day in, day out that the IMF is an institution that was created to ensure that African countries are able to find forex to pay off for the goods that they import from Europe and the USA. That's the only purpose of the IMF. You and me should have enough forex to be able to import goods. That's why which sane person can tell you, go and close a TV producing company in Livingston? Why not advise you to say the way you were running it was wrong, put in some corporate governance issues, refinance it and let it operate commercially? Why didn't they give us such an advice? They just told us, no, close it down, you are going to be buying TVs from Japan by that particular time. So I think we should never listen to the IMF. If there are people that we should never even be in causa, there are those 2 institutions. They have failed us. They took us to stone age. So what should we do in their absence? In their absence, we should look at what we have, minerals. If we are talking about minerals, the major mines should be owned by Zambian government. The so-called illegal miners are not illegal. A Zambian cannot be illegal in his own country. 100 years ago, there were no laws in this country. That's how we were living in kingdoms. So these mineral resources belong to Zambian citizens. If a person, you have identified a Jarabo, and he loves digging things, give him enough capital to continue digging his things. You identify a Zambian, he loves singing, give him enough instruments for him to continue singing. So in terms of those that want to mine, ZCCM as a company, in fact, we should not even call it ZCCMIH. It should be called Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines. We revert to the old name. Then the Mopani and KCM should never have been sold. We should have found a way of pumping in those resources. Those 2 mines alone can produce 500,000 tons of copper. If that is $10,000 per ton, that's 5 billion. The cost of production is just 1 billion. If government is running it, because government doesn't steal. So 4 billion is going to be going into your budget. $4 billion. How much debt do we have? 14 billion. There is no way we can be crying over a 14 billion debt when only Dangote borrowed 14 billion to do that oil refinery in Nigeria. When the guy we are giving back Vedanta to, the KCM to Vedanta, owes 12 billion. Vedanta is in a 12 billion debt, but he's not crying. He also wants KCM. You only owe 14 billion, 20 million people. You are crying, no, we can't run KCM. And the fact that educated people, imagine educated people will confront me and tell you, what are you telling me? We failed to run ZCM. We never failed to run ZCM. The IMF, under the Structural Adjustment Program, told us to privatize ZCM, and not as a single company, as divisions. Break it down. In 1991, ZCM, when we had food riots, shortages, and what, made a profit of $189 million. 1991. Number 1991, when we make $189 million profit in 2024, we mean we can fail to run a mine. You know, Kaunda and all the freedom fighters are turning in our graves.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to JCool.
But this government cannot implement these things if citizens themselves don't want them. Sometimes we want to blame government. Citizens also should want something. You should be able to tell government, this is what we want. In sometimes I can tell you, government doesn't know what we want. Because people are building new roads and schools. You start saying we don't eat roads and schools. They stop doing it, then you start complaining that they are potholes. I'm telling you, if we stop the infrastructure development, have you seen how Lusaka has transformed? Lusaka in the last 5 years has transformed. It's a beautiful city. Foreigners that come in will tell you it's beautiful, but immediately I'm taking them to the copper belt anyway, they start crying. Why have you only developed one city? You and me today, we should be not talking about ZNS Minimi. We should be talking about Chiboria. How can we create projects so that people start living in formal houses? 2024, people are not supposed to be living in a mud house, in a shack. Those are also citizens of the Republic of Zambia. God is going to punish us.
Okay.
We can't be living in mansions when we have a whole lot of Zambians. When you look at our combons, to a level whereby in 2024 we are building them outside toilets. Why not bring down all those houses and build project houses, nice houses? You can even free up other areas for more construction.
I think we've heard from government regarding to that effect, where they want to relocate some, unplanned settlers in the examples that you've given of those areas like Shibolia, Kanyama, into the outskirts of Lusaka, some in Chongwe, where they've identified land, and that's a process. But I want to bring you back to issues of the economy, because that's what we're talking about now. We touched on issues to do with energy, the Energy Regulation Board. ZESCO, we touched on the 8 hours of load shedding. And ZESCO has indicated that load shedding may go beyond the 8 hours. What impact will this have on the economy, and what can be done to avoid this situation? We're looking at 8 hours plus.
We started having droughts in 2014. Me, I don't have a short memory. I remember everything. In 2014, we started having droughts, and we started having load shedding from Rupia Bandas and Manawasas, 30 minutes, 1 hour. For the first time, it reached 3 hours. It was a crisis. First drought, 2014. Second drought, 2015, we went to 6 hours. 2016 was the worst, when we started having 12 hours load shedding. The time people that were in the opposition said there's no drought, it's incompetence. We started the project as Zambia in 2016, somewhere there, going towards diversifying our energy mix. The first one was nuclear. I'm telling you, nuclear energy is the only solution. That's the only solution for Zambia, nothing else.
Do we have the expertise?
So we started the process.
Energy? Yeah.
Between a nuclear power plant and a country can be 12 years. So the first is about a 4 to 6 years process, where you get a nuclear research reactor. So you sign the contract, then you start now training Zambians in nuclear science. They finish 4th years, 5 years of engineering in nuclear. Then they get attached to existing nuclear power plants or whatever. In the 6th year, you start a research reactor. The one that we wanted to build in Chongwe, you remember?
Yes.
That was a research reactor, not a nuclear power plant. So if you operate for 1-2 years a research reactor, you now have the expertise to handle a nuclear power plant. You start the process of now getting, because it's not only Zambia to approve, it's also the International Atomic Agency to approve that same facility, to ensure that you have enough capabilities and what. So where we don't have nuclear scientists, we were going to train the people. And I can tell you that today we have trained as a country over 50 nuclear scientists under that project that we are doing. We abandoned it as a government, but the trained people were still in university. You can't throw them. They finished. Some of them come in today and say, Doc, you were part of this project, what? Where are we going to go to? I said, I don't know. So that thing started in 2016. If we had followed the roadmap, we could have started the process of building a power plant by 2026. By maybe 2030, we were going to have a 5,000, 10,000 megawatts nuclear power plant at some lake in Zambia. Now, why is nuclear power plants important? Because that is base load, stable load, just like hydro. So you need, for example, if you have 3,000 megawatts of electricity in Zambia from hydro, you can only add maximum 500. If you have 3,000, you can only add 500 megawatts of solar. Why? Because solar is unstable. Immediately there's a cloud cover, they move from 80% production to maybe 30%. So that can crash the grid if you don't have a baseload to support that. So solar should be supported all the time. That's why it can't run a mine, because it's unstable. Then nuclear power plants, it is the cleanest and safest source of energy. I have lived 20 kilometers from a nuclear power plant before. It just produces steam as what? It's a nuclear reaction which heats the water turns the turbines, and you have electricity. Now, that research reactor that I was talking to you about, let me go back in terms of economic diversification.
Yes.
So we are into farming. Zambia is a farming place. So we can grow maize and send it into Congo. But we don't grow enough because we are still using hoes, manual digging and manual weeding. So we cannot produce enough to even feed Congo. We need to mechanize agriculture. Who can help mechanize agriculture? Government. So instead of giving taxes to youth that are even party cadres, you need to identify farmers, grade the roads, and put what Mwanawasa started. There was a division called Rural Road Networks. Mwanawasa had a vision. He knew that for you to do farming, you need better roads. Under Ministry of Works and Supplies, he created the Rural Road Networks and gave it graders and what. And they started using those graders because the farmers used the road. Then BOHOS, then RIA, Rural Electrification Authority, to come and provide electricity to people in the farming areas. Because without farming, how are you going to keep chickens? You can only produce maybe 100 chickens. You can't do more because you don't have electricity. You can't run gensets and produce electricity and keep chicken. Your costs will be very high. That's why we have no farming in Zambia. That's one. Two, we can't export produce to Europe because we have tropical diseases in our meat, in our vegetables, and in our dairy products. Do you know which facility kills those things? Why is Botswana and is exporting to Zambia, to Europe? Because they have irradiators. So in that research reactor wanted to build in Chongwe. And why Chongwe? It was near the airport. The airport, farmers who bring produce, they pass a week radiation in the food to kill the germs, and off on the plane, our meat is exported into Europe. And it is going to have a simple sign there that it's irradiated meat. We don't have that capacity. No wonder even if you say we are exporting pigs, goats to Europe, you are just telling stories. You can't, because you don't have any irradiator. Do you know who's doing that? Rwanda. Do you know why Kagame is building Air Rwanda to be very strong? And why he's building an irradiator there? Because he wants Rwanda to start exporting stuff from there. Why do we send people, cancer patients, to India? Because they have an irradiator. Some cancer medicines last maximum 1 hour. So when you produce it in the lab, it has to, within 1 hour, it has to be injected. That's why the cancer hospital was built near the airport.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to JQ.
But who has that institutional memory? Some of a few like us who are involved on the project have that memory. But the time that has gone. We don't know why cancer hospital was being built in Lusaka. We don't know why that thing was being built, because there was a plan to be able to export this thing. And year on, year out, as Zambians, we are chaotic in the way we do things. We don't plan. So what I'm saying, we need to first have these national development plans that we do, and what these are all fake. A development plan should have concrete things. You know, you don't live vague. You just don't see that education 100%. No, you say we need to build 100 schools. That's a development plan, so that we can check where 100 schools built. They have to be deliverables. We need to, if each and every person that is working today, you need to have a deliverable. No jailers. Allow Zambian businessmen to prosper.
Okay.
The fact that you, my brother, have money and me, I don't have, it's even an advantage if I don't have and you have, because I can always come and ask money from you to start a business. But if you don't have money, I don't have money, we are just going to die of poverty, the two of us.
Doc, before we open the phone lines, I want to get this in. How can government address some of the economic challenge, these economic effects, such as, you know, the depreciation of the kwacha, low economic profile, food insecurity, and drought-induced effects on the economy?
So the first thing we need to do in terms of the kwacha, low-hanging fruits, minerals. So we should take advantage of gold, copper, bring sanity to the mining industry. There's no sanity at the moment. Then now economic diversification into other sectors. Allow businesses to do business. My brother, when you open a shop today, council, fire license, if it's in the finance sector, 7,500 kwacha. Health certificate, what certificate? Then you go to that license. By the time you are finishing with licensing, you have spent 100,000 kwacha. Now, if you open a second office, you have to repeat the same procedure for the same business. You can't grow wealth for citizens, and you can't grow the economy like that. Foreigners will never develop our economy. You remember when there was COVID, they all ran away. We just remained Zambians alone to die, because they said Zambia has no medical facilities. We are running away. We are going to Europe. Europe was COVID was so much in Europe and not in Zambia. They started coming back. That's question number 2. Number 3, we need to have a strategy of Zambianizing the GDP. Everything should be about the Zambian. How can a Zambian create business? I would like to tell the people, especially the youth that are listening to me today, the economies, the way they are going, we are not going to be having jobs. We are all going to be entrepreneurs. Even the way we are going to be employed in the future, we are going to be called consultants. So consultant number one, come and teach this course at the University of Zambia. Not that you are going as a lecturer. You are going to be going as a consultant. That's where we are going, because in a market economy, people cut costs. And as they are cutting costs, they are coming up with new ways of reducing the workforce. That's the most unfortunate part. So that's why I'm saying we need to find a way of creating wealth for Zambian citizens. For them, Zambians to create wealth, the Minister of Finance should reduce taxes. There's no way a person who's getting 20,000 can be paying 37.5% tax. A person getting 30 pin, that 37.5 should start at 60 pin. That way, Zambians are going to have enough savings to start a cantemba. Now, there should be one shop where we should go to. Once I go to Pakra, I should be able to get Nima, Zema, whatever you want. Then me as a business, I only pay once. Then there at the center, you share the money. This one goes to Zedarai, this one goes to Nima, this one goes to what? Because every person that comes with their own regulations. For you to just to do compliance, you need to employ a specific person to sit, to be able to, that you have complied with with the council, with the NIMA. Naba mulilo kwakapo mulilo fire license, fire what? What are we talking about? When is a Zambian going to make money? Because of those barriers, yeah, administrative barriers to doing businesses, people opt not to do business. They just cantemba, just sitting there. They'll just be selling cantemba. Ah, my friend, I can't legitimatize because I'll be paying a lot of taxes, or there are a lot of barriers. That's the other thing. Economic barriers to doing business. And okay, non-economic barriers, soft spot. Zambians, when you see another friend making a bit of some money, we want to grab it. This person is developing, want to kill them. How many businesses have we killed in this Zambia? A lot. Yes, some might have broken the law here and there. Help them, correct them, tell them this is bad. One of the laws, one of the functions of a society is to take corrective measures. In the Soviet Union, when a person was drinking too much, the whole work collective would call them and say, you are drinking too much and missing work. How can we Ratsa? We just have cameras and 3 people working at Ratsa trying to compare what the cameras have done. We should not, it's not a fight. This is a country, you know. Citizens are supposed to be free. It should be ease. When we are doing roads, put pavements. Not everybody drives. We need pavements so that people can walk. This country should be, you know what a country is? A country is when people come together and agree to live under one boundaries for the purpose of security and economic development together. Government is a trust, and government officers are trustees who have been entrusted to run the affairs of the country by the citizens. So there's no way a government I hear a government officer says, this disgruntled gentleman, these disgruntled people, how can you call a citizen who is talking to you a disgruntled person? He can't be disgruntled.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to
majority, male, female, foreign, domestic. People should air their views. That's the democracy. The government official, if I was president and I hear that one of my ministers or officials is calling a citizen disgruntled, like what happened in Quito, for example, that woman buys ZNS maize and goes as cheaply from ZNS and goes and sells it in a store at an expensive price. That happens in a market where you're distorting the laws of supply and demand. The private millers have put their prices at 400 kwacha per bag. You come and bring it at 280. Of course, people will buy from you, which is cheap, and one sell at an acceptable price, which is 400. Because 400 is what supply and demand has said that's a price. That's a market economy.
Doc,
so don't insult that woman. She's somebody's mother. You know, if that was my mother, you are going to see what was going to happen now. To even have that woman kneel down in front of a camera, for using her own money to buy mini meal, cheaply, to sell expensive, to make a profit. That's a citizen of the Republic of Zambia. Doc, you wanted to start selling kachas to make her drink it.
We have to get the people involved now. I'll allow you to wear headphones so that we get a few calls in. This is the Hot Seat right here on your hot station, number 1 for news and entertainment.
You're listening to the Hot Seat on Hot FM 87.7. It's time for you to call now and get involved. Call now and get involved.
All right, give us a call. It's 0974-870-877, 0950-955-877. We'd like to hear from you this morning. It's 0974-870-877 or 0950-955-877. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
Thank you very much. I talk to Lukulu voice on the line here.
What's your name?
Lukulu Chinyama. That's the name.
Chinyama,
Yes.
Please go ahead with your question or contribution.
Thank you very much. How are you, Habazooka?
Good morning.
Morning. First and foremost, to hear what we are talking about. But kudos always good to be given to people who are also there today. When we look back where we're coming from, this country was paralyzed. If you recall very well, if you are politicking on that platform, it was paralyzed. The economy was run down, too much corruption, and too much unemployment in the streets. You saw what was happening. And too many children languishing in the villages, in the homes and the compounds. You saw what was happening. This government comes in, what do? They come in, they look at the pride of the Zambian people, look at the children, they will be spoiled, they will be junkies all over. They can't be a good country with such kind of people. They have to bring free education from grade 1 to grade 12. And everyone was accommodated. And people flocking to the schools. And also they had to employ 30,000 plus teachers. What does that for you? It's nothing. That's how you run the economy. You start from there, face affairs of the people. That's what you do. So that you lessen the burden of people in the streets or do anything. So surely for you it's nothing. So now everything is being done. There's law of order in this country now. So what's now remaining here is the economy that needs to be run. That's why you see the president is busy, moving upside down. He's not sleeping to make sure the economy is bring up. So Habazooka, you are just politicking. Learn to appreciate. Thank you very much.
All right, Bachinyama, thank you for your contribution. It's 0974-870-877, 0950-955-877. I'd like to hear from you this morning. Give us a call. We have Dr. Lubinda Habazooka in studio. Good morning.
Good morning. Please, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Lawrence here. Mr. Habazooka, good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Yes, sir, you are expressing this very well. You are one of the best economists in this country. Now, in South Africa, you said the Ukraine saying that the economy is doing well. Now, what do they mean when fuel is at 35 now? When the dollar is at 27, they found at 15 kwacha. When the cost of living for a family of 5 is 10,300, when they found it at 5,000. When fertilizer is 1,200, when they found it at 600. Okay? And the interest rates today are very high. So when they say that the economy is doing well, the president, no, the economy is doing much better than it was doing under PF. What do they mean exactly? Because the fundamentals of the economy, the electricity alert have gone up, the fuel has gone up, doubled, I don't know how many times, understand? So what do they mean when they say the economy is doing very well? Today we have seen people being killed over million. Okay, we've lost 2 people being shot by the security, Ghana security is over million. Then you say that the country is now back in Champions League. What do you mean by that? Mr. Habazooka, we are exporting power to 7 countries, this country. But those countries, they don't even express to trading. We've heard that the power from your Kafirwa court is going to Zimbabwe.
Lawrence, I'll ask you to wind up.
At the West for trading. In conclusion, what is your take on the future where German companies are being called thieves when foreign companies like Vendetta broke the laws, didn't pay taxes, but they have been brought back by the UPND. I think that the UPND are pro-foreign companies and including German companies. Good morning. Thank you. God bless you.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to JQ.
It's 0974-870-877, 0950-955-877. I'd like to hear from you this morning. Give us a call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
Mr. Nectar.
Nectar?
Yes.
All right, Nectar, please go ahead with your question or contribution.
Good morning, Dr. Habazooka.
Good morning. How are you?
Yes, I want to agree with what you are saying. I'm following very closely. And especially when you're talking about the taxes, we're paying too much taxes. People are getting paid 20,000 and plus, and then paying 7,000. They are remaining with nothing much to save. And that's the reason people are seeming not to have money, because you find that someone is getting paid a lot of money, but and pays a lot of taxes. You pay taxes again, you still have to pay to the hospitals. You still have to buy the medicines. You still have to pay other things, but you've already paid high taxes. So what's the point of paying high taxes? And even on the management of the minerals, I feel like the government needs to manage minerals properly. The way you mentioned about the study that nothing is being done there, we also need to hear something done there so that you can have money from and opening up access roads. I feel like opening up access roads to the Arab land. If you open up access road to Arab land, people will be shifting to those lands, and then they'll be developing those lands because they know that there's transport, which they use to transport those goods. I think that's my control. I'm following you very closely. You're on point.
All right, Nectar, thank you very much for the call.
Thank you.
All right, Doc, let's respond to the three.
I think the first call I won't even respond because I didn't come here to talk about PF versus UPND. That can be discussed in blogs and be people emotional. We are looking at the challenges that the nation is facing and how we can sort them out. I'm not talking about who did this, CDF that, the teachers, what. That one he can handle it. We are not politicking here. We have much more serious things to do. And it's true what the other people have said. We need to ensure that we prioritize the Zambian. You know, I feel very sad. Like, you know, I'll bring back the story of Mikalire. That person started doing business within UNIP when UNIP was in government. Started from the village, at school. He was an entrepreneur and everybody. And if you speak with him, you even know that this person is nothing but a business person. The person borrowed money, used his own money to supply, equipment to all schools. Where there was no power, he put solar power. It's very few Zambians are able to deliver in such works and of that quality. And all need to be scandalized. I've had the privilege to look at actually those documents, photos and schools and where he was delivering. I've looked at those. There's nothing. The guy is above notch. That's why he survived UNIP, he survived MMD, he survived PF. He is even going to outlive the UPND, because now I think as Zambians, it's time now to protect each other from politicians. How many businessmen are going to go? The post went down, we all kept quiet. At that particular point, I spoke. We have seen companies like Nera Investment going down, because politics. We have seen a lot of companies, Savenda, under pressure. Those are the Zambians we can actually look up to say, boss, can you invest in that? Because foreigners will never develop our country. It is just Zambians. And coming back to, there's a person who mentioned about these things of getting property. One of the traits of a market economy is protection of property rights. If you own something, it should take serious investigations and serious proof. He who alleges should prove that you actually stole that property. Property rights are very, for me to be comfortable to invest in Zambia, I need to be comfortable that my property is going to be what? Is going to be protected. Today, what law enforcement agencies are doing, I'm speaking as an academician and as an economist. You buy a plot as a Zambian from the government at 12,000 kwacha. That's how much government is selling. So that everybody can achieve. Yes, government is selling 30 pin, 20 pin. So you buy a 20 pin plot from government, or you get it from a chief at 10 pin, or the chief just gives you because the chief likes you. You are a Zambian, you have the entitled to that land. You spend 400,000 kwacha those days. You build a house. One 4-bedroom house is 5,000 blocks. A block was going at 3 kwacha. 3 times 5, 15 pin those days. For those people that don't know, that in 15,000 kwacha you can buy 5,000 blocks those days to do a 4-bedroom house. So you spend 400 pin building a house. When the law enforcement agencies come in, they say, because now you have already built that house, there's a market value. It's different. The cost of building it and the market of value are two different things. Then the law enforcement agency says, these houses are now going at 2 million. Because, of course, the market also has speculation. So you have been found with proceeds of crime because you can't raise 2 million. The person's gratuity was maybe 400 pin or 500 pin. But since you have put it at the market value, he will be unable to prove that that property is his because he built it cheaply. But you are quoting the market value, the bank accounts. Because we are an informal economy. You see? So we need to develop the country with a mind that this is an informal country. You can't just come all of a sudden rules. No. You traders out. No. You have to transition. If they were selling, they will just put a cloth on the ground, build them beautiful stores. You're upgrading them. From the store, they will say, what stops me from just opening a shop? Because they know when they open a shop, there are no taxes, fees, the council won't be coming, and to only people that were not connected to people that, or people that know people in government, are the ones that have been stealing. Then the other people that have been going to jail, they are also connected. So if you want to implement anti-corruption fight, it has to be across the whole board. And he who alleges should prove. You can't be taken to court and said, prove how you built this. What if it's a married woman you have gone to, and she has a boyfriend somewhere, and the boyfriend is the one who gave her the money, and she lied to the husband that she was given as a deal in consultants. You want her to go and say, no, it's my boyfriend who gave me, for example. Don't embarrass citizens.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo,
0974-870-877, 0955-877. Those lines get you to the hot seat this morning. Want to hear from you. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good, how are you doing? What's your name?
Good morning, Fizzy.
Morning to you. What's your name?
This is Peter. Good morning, Dr. Habazooka.
Good morning.
Your name again?
Peter.
All right, please go ahead.
Doctor, before I ask my question, I just want to quote something that the Honorable Finance Minister said in January. Hello?
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes, I'll start by quoting what the Finance Minister said in March. And this is what he said. Those of you who are buying and keeping dollars, thinking that one day it will reach 100 so you benefit, be careful, because Kwacha is about to make a counter-attack. And then in February, BOZ increased the MPR, which is the monthly price rate. And we saw the Kwacha, I will not say appreciating, I will say the Kwacha imbalanced the dollar. So now the question is, what are the things that made the dollar, the Kwacha to imbalance the dollar? And the question one, the second one is, what is Zambia's import cover? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I think we want to take those two. Please respond to these two.
Didn't bring your critics closer. Bring your critics closer. Let them criticize. In that criticism, you pick what you think is right and what you think is wrong. You might not know that you have ironed your shirt very well unless your friend tells you, "Boy, he'll be able to notice." So when you are doing something, when football players are playing football there, it's the coach who's going to say, "Look, you are not coming back. Can you be coming? Okay, move left, move right, because you yourself, you can't see it. You are all in emotions, doing some other things, flying business class. So you can't see those things. But other people are able to tell you and advise that this is the route we're supposed to go. So for Zambia, I think we need to have an interval to discuss these issues. And for people that are saying things are very much okay, I am worried. Because when a person says everything is okay, then they are not seeing the problem. In research, we say if you miss the problem statement, you will not know how to create the objectives to sort out that problem. So we need to identify the problem, do some literature review. How have we lived in the past? That's why when I began here, I started mentioning about what was happening in the past and what we stopped and what we should have done. Then create a model of solving our problems. So at the moment, from the other callers that were very politically active, charged, and they reflect, the parties that are in government, I can just tell you that the people don't understand that there's a problem, which is a problem in itself. You need to understand that there's a problem, that when fuel increases from 30 to 35, even that free education you're talking about is nothing. Because how is a child are you providing them yangos to go to school? They have to, some of them go into minibus. I've gone to school before, or I've seen people going to school using minibus. A person won't go to school because they don't have transport money. Yeah, people that are supposed to create jobs, so that those children of parents who have free education, should be able to find a job to feed them, because they have to eat at home for them to go and assess that. So we need to ensure that Zambians are able to afford minimum. The only way you can afford minimum is by increasing salaries, not by increasing the reducing. When the market economy says minimum is 400, it's 400. You can't do anything about it. The market has dictated. If you put it at 280, people will buy from you and go and resell on the market. And they are reselling because they are finding people who are able to buy it.
Doc?
First time in a year, sorry, I came late and that's my problem.
Our time is up,
and
unfortunately.
I'm meeting into your other important time. The old one, the new one, you're just stockpiling. Now, me and you are not going to be importing maize. We were going to have the maize in the reserves. But nobody listened. They started exporting power last year. We spoke, why are you exporting power? Save the water. Save the water. Just this week, they said, no, we're no longer exporting 60 megawatts of power to Namibia. I remember when those deals were being signed. What positive impact did they do to us? Nothing.
Doc, we have
just
to end
finished
here.
the water in the dam.
Our time is up. I'd like to thank you very much for coming through to the hot seat this morning.
Thank you very much.
There you have it. That's our show for this week. We'll be back with another exciting edition of the hot seat on Tuesday with my colleague Hope Shala right here on your number one for news and entertainment. Until then, it's goodbye for now. Keep it locked right here on 87.7 in Lusaka, DSTV Control channel 912 and GoTV channel 301.
That was the Hot Seat. Don't forget to join next week at the same time. Exclusive to Hot 87.7.
In a world that never stops, do you ever just want to press pause? Find your inner peace? Welcome to Shadol Spa, where tranquility and rejuvenation awaits you. At Shadol Spa, you are surrounded by calming sounds and scents of essential oils. Our serene oasis is designed to nurture your body and soul, the perfect escape from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Book now and rediscover your inner peace. Call 0767 471 112 or visit us at 14 Kawompo Street near East Park Mall. Shadol, discover the beauty within.
Fading, no more stretching, my clothes look bright and new, and the fragrance keeps on getting stronger every time I move. Silky, silky smooth, looking fresh and smelling good. Get carried away.
What's up? My name is Ken Dumbo, the MC with the sauce. Don't forget to subscribe to J Cool.
Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, J Cool, and turn on the notification bell, cause I'm gonna see you in the next video.